And as these creatures reach their predestined rendezvous with impact, we'll see elaborate plans for genocide as the unjust moneyed among us rush to save themselves at our expense.
Where your tax dollars pay for the shuttle, the space station, and out-of-this-world parties. Tight at another government agency as NASA officials wait for Congress to pass a new spending plan. The agency's supporters warn the budget crunch could delay future space projects. Yet NASA always seems to find money for parties that are quite simply out of this world.
And the costs are astronomical, which is why just last month, NASA was able to squeeze $1 billion extra from the Senate. That very same day, NASA also posted an online notice few people saw, seeking 4-star hotel bids for its December awards. Try 5 days and 4 nights at a luxury Florida hotel for 300 honorees and their guests. Fancy receptions, all paid for by your tax dollars.
I think it's kind of ironic that they're going to be extravagant in how they spend money, and they're coming to us and saying they want more money.
There's a reception to feed 750 with a carving station. You're talking $400,000 to $500,000.
And if you think that's pricey, consider this. NASA holds its big awards about every time there's a shuttle launch. December's extravaganza will be the 3rd one in 2007. Honoring all those people is costing you about $4 million a year.
We are genetically bred as humans to compete. We compete against other humans. We compete against the environment to get the food we need. We've been evolved to compete.
No, the urge to compete is a disease of dominators. Rather, the survival of species depends solely on diplomacy and cooperation. Dominators always interpret the dance of diplomacy as acts of aggression. That, in fact, defines them as dominators. This is what corporate media denies, as they thrive on conning the sheeple into agreeing with undeserved privilege for a few at the expense of the rest. Here we see the recent space shuttle in orbit attaching the Emperor's luxury bedroom module as his private tin can addition to the space station. If a ground-based missile launch were to reach the 220-mile altitude of the space station and release a ton of sand into orbit, the space station would be disabled and crash back to Earth. This is why Baby Bush is racing to build himself a condo playpen on the moon, because their space station and communications satellites are all fully exposed, sitting duck targets for bags of sand lobbed up from the third world.
Some of the next X Prizes are going to be, what else are you working on?
Well, we've launched already the Archon X Prize for genomics, sequencing 100 human genomes in 10 days.
To win the X Prize, a company has to map in 10 days a specific 100 human genomes that are provided by the X Prize Foundation. In addition, CBS News reported in October 2006 that the company that can do this must also map the genomes of 100 celebrities, including financial heavyweight Paul Allen. As with the Spaceship One X Prize charade, Emperor Paul Allen is also behind this newest ruse to manipulate DNA gene codes. Throughout 2002, Emperor Allen paid Jane, the insane dragon lady who today daily destroys the Hendrix legacy, to unearth Jimi's remains from his grave and hand over his tissues to these witch doctors. She secretly waited until Jimi's 60th birthday, November 27, 2002. At midnight, these ghouls initiated a zombie ritual to dig into Jimi's grave and rip off his brains. With the remains of Hendrix exhumed, the Emperor's cabal of Frankenstein scientists set to work on experiments to clone and decode Jimi's DNA in a pathetic last-ditch attempt to try and manufacture the evolutionary mutation in brain perception that Hendrix represents. Their goal is to artificially create a new breed of freaks with capacity to fathom aspects of physics that allowed Jimi to remote view the asteroid that Hendrix said is headed to Earth. So Mr. Allen concocted a plot to basically steal Jimi's brain in an attempt to jumpstart mutations. At the same time he paid to confiscate Jimi's brain in 2002, he also set up a company as a front for the project. It's called the Allen Institute for Brain Science in Seattle, for which he paid $100 million to hire an army of geneticists to decode and clone Jimi's DNA. And this X Prize deception scheme was concocted to hasten the pace for mutations. Mr. Allen today has Jimi's brain imprisoned in his institute, and the Emperor's X Prize front now distributes bits of Jimi's tissue to labs enrolled in this contest, none of whom realize that it's Jimi's mutated DNA that they're studying. Mr. Allen's Frankenstein team concocted a scheme. If the Emperor can inject into his veins the DNA remains of Jimi's decayed brains, he may gain the capability to pay for an escape from this asteroid-doomed land.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
And for the team that's required to untangle that rat's nest of Mr. Allen's DNA, we need only realize that as the asteroid nears, money will become meaningless. Should any of these scientists seek a map to the Emperor's genome, they'll only find a map of the road to extinction. Last one up to the moon party is a rotten egg planet.